Today we're going to be looking into buy now, pay later. So these are things such as Afterpay, ZipPay, Hum, the likes of those. And basically we're going to go through and react to some videos that I found online of people utilizing those such platforms to make installment payments for things that they otherwise might not have bought if they didn't have that option. Now, you've probably seen some crazy stories of people going into insane debt using these. I personally think that if you can use the services well within your means and you don't overindulge, you know, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but if you use these tools correctly, why not? But for some people, they just overindulge, it gets way too much and it turns into debt. So let's go through to video number 1 first.
My name is Holly, I'm a shopping addict, and I'm going to speak to you a little bit about my shopping addiction. I was severely addicted and in a debt cycle with Afterpay for the last 6 years. This is me scrolling through all my orders behind me while I speak to you about this. No joke. I thought I had it under control because it would always be at the max, $3,000 max, and then I would get paid fortnightly. So every time I got paid, I would pay it off for the next 2 weeks, stunning slay queen. We've got it in control, never late payments, but in those 2 weeks, I'll just build it back up. Deadly addicted to Afterpay and shopping. It's literally diagnosed. I just love it. I love the rush. I love shopping so much. But I'm really proud of myself. I finally cleared my Afterpay down to $0, guys. $0. I'm starting to sell my stuff. So I'm going on a big Euro trip and we just can't keep living this life. We can't keep living this life. And this isn't even all of it, because not only this, if this was maxed out and I needed something else, I would go to my PayPal Pay in 4. I luckily didn't get Klarna, but I also had Latitude Pay. It's really hard out here on the streets being a shopping addict. It's just gonna keep scrolling through. This is sick in the head. I could have bought a little apartment in Bondi. Sick. I'm not trying to show off. Oh my god, you're so crazy, big fucking spender. No, I'm just trying to be open and honest that I have a severe shopping addiction, as you can probably tell by all my hauls. But guys, it is officially down to a $0 bill. $0 bill. And this is to keep me accountable. We're not racking it back up. We're just not. We're going to Europe, guys. So I celebrate. Go me, saving queen 2023. Yes, queen.
I love that one. I mean, she's acknowledging the fact that she did have a problem with spending a lot on the app. And for the most part, a lot of people just get stuck in that cycle. They're like, oh, I'll just pay it in installments, make it easier. Sure. But then they keep putting everything else on the installment payments. And then by the time they get to their weekly pay, fortnightly or monthly pay, they realize, oh, I've actually got a lot of payments due. And they go, oh no, how am I going to pay for this? Or I didn't think about this when I was doing it, but now it's kind of snowballed and I've got a lot of payments due. So it can get very scary very quick if you don't manage it properly. And it's exciting. She's going to a Euro trip. That's amazing. I hope she had an amazing time, because I mean, the thought of having debt and coming back from a Euro trip would be not great. So that's awesome that she's cleared that before she's gone and she doesn't have to worry about it now. Her most frequent that I could see seemed to be Tiger Lily and also the Iconic. So I wonder what she was buying. I mean, pretty obvious with Tiger Lily that they do swimwear and things. Or did they do numerous? I'm not sure. Anyway, I think they're swimwear. Could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, let's go on to video number 2.
Girl math is when you use Afterpay for literally everything. So when you buy a $100 pair of shoes and you only have to pay $25 that day, and then the pair of shoes show up at my apartment 3 days later, the shoes are $25. Why do I care if in 2 months I have to pay another $25? I don't know me 2 months from now. She can deal with that. I'm gonna buy a lot of things in 2 months that are more expensive than $25. Why do I care about a second payment? What if I find $1 million on the ground next week? Yeah, that's girl math. And it's scary that makes sense to me in my head.
The whole girl math thing was insane. When that came up, people were just being like, oh, I've paid this with my credit card and it's money that I don't have to pay right now. So it's free. Virtually it's free. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works, but you know, we'll go with it. But the whole girl math craze was just mind-boggling. I was like, there's no way that you are saying that right now. So secondly as well, Afterpay, I thought you had to pay each 2 weeks or so, not every 2 months. So if you, like for example, bought something for $100, you'd pay $25 each installment because there's 4. And I thought you'd pay that every 2 weeks. Is it not that? I'm not sure. Maybe it's changed. But she was like, oh, I can pay it in 2 months' time. But I'm like, I don't know if it's that far in the gaps between the payments. But that video was interesting. So let's go to video number 3.
Does Afterpay affect getting a loan on your credit? This is a great question.
Yes, it does.
It's not necessarily impacting your actual credit score.
You make your servicing though if you've got debt.
Unless the bank statements show the transactions coming out of.
It's the same as a credit card, right? If you don't disclose a credit card, it doesn't have an impact either. But if the bank sees you transferring money to a credit card, it's going to have an impact.
Most definitely. That was a good question because a lot of people now are using Afterpay, which is why you should avoid your loans in your personal name or non-income producing debt.
I feel like, I'm not sure actually. I've heard people say different things like, oh, buy now, pay later kind of things, they can determine your home loan or like change that. I don't know for sure though. If you know, comment below. Tell us. We want to know because I've heard differing opinions and some are like, oh yes, it does affect it, and some are like, no, it doesn't at all. And it's like, well, how can some do and some not? When I thought it would be like a pretty leveled, like black and white, like yes, this does or no, this doesn't, but it doesn't seem to be that because there's still people who get confused like me as to if it does or doesn't. So let's go to video number 4.
Y'all can hate on Afterpay as much as y'all want to, but me, baby, every single time a purchase is too much or too big, if it's a big fat ass amount, I'm gonna put it Afterpay every single time. Bitch, y'all can hate on me all y'all want to. I don't care. Cause splitting it up, it just feels a little bit more digestible. Even my Beyonce tickets, what did you think I did for that? I put that shit on Afterpay. Taking like $175 each 2 weeks. Baby, before you know it, it was like $120, $175. Okay, that's a little bit more digestible than a full $600. The fuck? If I had to pay that shit up front, like right then and there, baby, no. It's not coming out my account because that's such a big amount. You know, over $175, that's not that bad. And I hate when a bitch be like oh, if you have to put on Afterpay, then you can't afford it. Bitch, you trying to stop my shine? You trying to stop me from living? No, I'm gonna live every single time. Fuck is y'all talking about? I'm an Afterpay enthusiast. If Afterpay is an option, I'm definitely clicking it. Baby, Klarna, Affirm, all of y'all, baby. The fuck?
I feel like it definitely depends on the person. Like, again, not a financial advisor, not giving financial advice, but I think that if you know how to stay within your means and you know yourself well enough not to overindulge and get yourself in a lot of debt that you can't afford, I don't see the problem. I think, you know, I've used those things before and I think they've been great. As long as you paid on time, you don't get charged like a fee. And he's right, like it does kind of break down the cost of things instead of paying a lump sum amount. But I think there's definitely a line between you're just using it to pay for something here and there versus someone who's using it all the time for everything. And obviously, depending on the person's financial security and where they are with that, it's going to look different for every person. But yeah, that's my kind of hot take on it. Agree to disagree on some of the things there. I think it's definitely important to enjoy your life. And if a lump sum payment seems scary to you and you would prefer to pay in installments and you can afford it, do what you got to do, you know? But let's go to the next video.
No, it's all good, babe. Yeah, I put it on Afterpay, yeah, so it's basically free, you know what I mean? Well, I don't see the money coming out of the account, so I'm basically getting all this free shit, and I love free stuff. Yeah, it's probably why I got no money, but free stuff, like, why would I not want it?
Oh my goodness, free stuff. This just comes back to the whole girl math thing. Oh gosh. It's so funny watching people make all those excuses for them buying stuff. And it's like, no, you just might have a spending problem. might have a shopping addiction there, love. Yeah. And look, I've been in a cycle before where I just kept like buying things, and it can be really hard to stop yourself and be like, look, I need to like stop now because this is getting like too much. So definitely make sure that you're trying to be really aware of the things you're purchasing and how often, because it's important to have savings, boo-boo. Like, think of your future you. Trust me. Let's go to the next video.
I got paid about 10 minutes ago and I now have $9 left in my account because I had to put it all on Afterpay repayments because I have zero self-control.
See, that's not good. That's, yeah, you don't want to be in that position. I couldn't even imagine myself being in that position, how that would feel. It would be very stressful to say the least. So yeah, just make sure you're looking after yourself. Next video.
My Afterpay limit turned out to be $3,000, and I'd like to know who in their right mind is afterpaying $750 a fortnight in this economy. Now, I only found this out because we're going through a mortgage application process. Our broker suggested make sure you close all of those accounts because to the bank, they're a credit card. And I was like, oh, it's not really. It's just a convenient way to do some shopping. You know, it's even if you don't need it, it spreads out the payments and makes it feel like you're not really spending. And then I logged in and it said available to spend $3,000. Nobody has that kind of cash flow to afterpay $750 a fortnight. And that is so freaking dangerous to give that out to people without you even knowing it, right? Afterpay and those buy now, pay laters, they need to get gone. They need to get gone. They're not good for us. They create terrible spending habits because we think that it's nothing, but it's all adding up.
Look, I mean, a house mortgage would be nice. I feel like in this current economy, that feels so far away from me. We won't even go into that. That's a whole other thing. But I do agree. It all definitely adds up. If you're not being and keeping on top of things, it can snowball on you quite quickly and it can get very ugly very quick. So again, just a reminder, try to be on top of things because you do not want to get to that point. Next video.
If you use Buy Now Pay Later, you might want to check this out. There could be big changes coming this year. Aussies bought $16 billion worth of goods using Buy Now Pay Later last financial year, using companies like Afterpay, Zip and Hum. But there's concern the companies aren't doing enough to check that people can actually afford the money they're taking out. The government wants to make sure that vulnerable consumers aren't being stung, so it's weighing up 3 possible changes. The lightest involves tougher industry standards. That could be that they have to do things like a credit check, but they may not have to verify a person's financial situation, for example. The toughest would involve serious financial checks, including having to verify somebody's income, similar to what you might have to do when you apply for a credit card. And then somewhere in between, there's a middle ground where the companies would have to do some financial checks, but not all, and they probably would not have to verify things like a person's income and expenses. But the industry says that's overkill. They say most people only borrow small amounts, and extreme changes would force people to take out more expensive credit, like a short-term loan. We don't know when the changes will come in, but it will likely be towards the end of this year.
Okay, so I think that video was posted a few years ago, so I'm not sure how up to date that is and if any changes have been applied, but I would have thought it would be important to do like financial checks to see if people can actually afford what they're asking for. Morally, that just sounds like what they should be doing. I don't know. That sounds weird if they're not doing that. To give someone something that they can't afford does not sound right to me. Anyways, let's go to the next video.
You're afterpaying your afterpay.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Do you understand what this means?
I'm not paying it right away and I can pay it later.
So you want to go make a purchase.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to pay for it all right now, so I'm going to put it on Afterpay.
Yeah.
So that I make multiple payments on it.
Yeah.
But instead of you paying off your Afterpay,
Yeah.
you then further put it on a credit card, meaning you're delaying the payment twice.
I didn't think
if you're
about
not willing
it that
to,
way.
you didn't think about it.
It's supposed to explain it to me.
I just did.
I know. So now I know.
If you are not able to pay for an item, don't buy it. Let's start there.
Fine.
And 2, if you do Afterpay, which please don't, because you just can't manage that, don't pay it by going into debt more.
Okay.
Don't Afterpay your Afterpay, and don't Afterpay your Afterpay your Afterpay. Have you ever done a balance transfer or consolidation?
No.
Oh, because if you did that, that would be Afterpay and your Afterpay and your Afterpay.
I don't even know how to do that.
Good. Okay. And please don't. I'm sorry. Just that would scare me if you knew what those were, because I don't want you to even like recognize that those exist.
Okay.
Just forget I even mentioned those products.
All right. I really don't remember what you just said.
Good.
I love Caleb Hammer. I think he's like, I watch him on YouTube all the time, and he's like my favorite to watch. So those kind of videos are so interesting. I didn't know that you could Afterpay. That's a thing. I don't even know how you would even do that. Interesting. I guess we learn something new every day. Let's go to the next video.
Can we talk about how dangerous Afterpay is? Don't remember when I first discovered it, but I realized it's on like Aritzia, it's on Sephora, can't remember what else. It's on a lot of stuff though, like a lot of websites will be like, or 4 interest-free payments of this amount with Afterpay. My little monkey brain is like, it's basically like it's free. I'm girl mathing it is what I'm doing, if we're being honest. I bought a Dyson Airwrap and I bought it with Afterpay because like $800, but it was 4 interest-free payments of just under $200. So I was like, it's basically $200, which means it's basically free. I need to get it. And I do love it for that reason, because you just, you pay what you can now, and then you go to work and you pay your credit card and you pay some more. Like, it works. It actually is great. I love it. But the amount of shit I have bought that I should not have bought because of Afterpay is just wild. Like, I'll make like an $800 Sephora order, but it's Afterpay, so it's not really $800. It's like $200 4 times. So really, I'm saving money is what I'm doing. Anyway, Afterpay, I love you. Kind of wish I'd never discovered you. But also, I don't mean that. I love you. I love you so much.
How true is that? I feel like it's like a love-hate thing where you love that you can do something like that, but you also hate that it's like you can also overindulge in it and go over budget. So yeah, I guess there is definitely the dangers of it. So important to keep on top of it. But Sephora, I hear of so many like women specifically purchasing lots and lots and lots of things from there, spending like hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. And I'm just like, oh my god, like that's so much money on like Sephora. But some of these women are obsessed with it, like love it. I guess everyone has their thing, so you do you. Next video.
Anytime I'm gonna buy something, before I buy it, I search on Instagram or TikTok, hashtag whatever brand I'm about to buy from, partner. Because a lot of the time, brands work with influencers and give them like a code whenever they post. So for example, yesterday I bought 2 perfumes from the brand Dossier, and before I pressed like confirm and pay, I was like, hang on. I searched on Instagram, hashtag Dossier partner, let me show you. So I just searched this on Instagram, you can do it on TikTok too, I usually just do Instagram. And then immediately I found like 5 different people with 10% off codes. Sometimes I'll scroll.
That's a good idea. I haven't done that myself personally. What I have done though is just in Chrome or whichever like browsing Safari you use, I just type in wherever I'm wanting to buy from, discount code. So I'll be like, for example, if I'm going to Big W, I'll be like Big W discount code, and then it'll show me like potential ones that I could try. I remember one time I put it in for, it was one of those clothing fashion lines, and I was buying some clothes online, and I found this code that literally gave me 50% off. I was like, what? So definitely like worth looking into if there is any that are active, because you could like save yourself a little bit of money or quite a bit of money. Just depends on what they have available at the time. So yeah, definitely do that trick as well. It's a really good one. that's everything from me today. So thank you so much for tuning into Diary of Jen. I really, really appreciate having you here. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think of Buy Now Pay Later? Honestly, I'm on like the fence of, I think it's a great tool, but then also I can see the dangers of it if it's not used correctly and if you kind of overindulge in it. But though some of those stats were very interesting to go through and see as well. So thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time.